are aligned to this lesson. And then what's gonna happen afterwards is we're just gonna share something that we noticed from the lesson, a factual observation, if you will. No judgment or opinions shall be shared. And, are we? Oh, Miss Pat's not here. I'm like, wait a minute, not all here. Okay, got it. And then, if there's anything that you want to know more about, the suggestion is to start your sentence with "I wonder." Your wonderings. And then to wrap up, the presenter will have just a tiny bit of reflection on what you heard from the group. And then we might skip the practice time today because we need to get our MTSS stuff. But then we just talk about how this will look in our room, some agreements that we will all stick to for the lesson presentation, and that is how that's gonna go, okay? And I'm gonna record this. Mr. Alex?
He's ready.
He's ready, okay, I can
I
count
feel
on
on
Mr.
the
Alex.
spot. Okay.
Okay, 10 minutes.
All right, so we are going to be doing summarizing data, and then we can use different graphs, but today we're gonna be using dot plot. I think because third grade is not super familiar with dot plot, so we decided to go with this one. That way it can be the beginning, and then we can get more practice as the year goes on. Some lessons that precede this lesson is just sorting and classifying, recording data, using tally marks and other graphs that they've done in first and second grade, and making simple graphs. So, I'll begin. Today we are going to have a lesson on graphs. So, I want us to talk a little bit about what is a graph. And you guys should have an anchor chart about types of graphs that looks like this. Miss Andrews, that's one.
Okay.
And then for you guys, I made like a smaller version if you guys want to do it like this big or this big. And I will go over like what is a graph, and then these are the 4 types of graphs that third grade is tested on, which is frequency tables using tally marks, dot plots, pictographs, and bar graphs. And the pictures are from the STAR, that way they are familiar to how they look actually on the test. And I will go over what is the purpose of each graph. Today we're going to talk about graphs. It shows data, it shows the information. We've talked about data in our DKOS, and we know that that is our numbers. So it can be shown in different ways, and it helps us stay organized. Today we're going to focus on dot plot. A dot plot shows data on a number line, and it shows the frequency of something happening. And for example, here we have a number line from 1 to 10, and it's the numbers generated based on Neung's numbers. And we have a key at the bottom that tells us that each dot means one number. That means that each of the dot will mean one number of Neung's numbers. Today we're gonna be creating a dot plot based on the question, how many apples have you eaten this fall? So, for students, I would have this paper so they can follow along with me. But I made it big so that everybody can see. And our survey question, and I'm gonna be conducting this survey. Maybe later on you'll be conducting your own survey. But we are gonna be doing, how many apples have you eaten this fall? And I'm gonna go around the room. So Miss Michelle, how many apples have you eaten this fall?
3.
3. So I'm gonna put Michelle's name and 3 on the number of apples. Alex, how many apples have you eaten this fall? None. So 0. Elida?
I have eaten 4.
4 apples. And we're gonna make our top 5 just for now. Even if you have more than 5, we're gonna say 5 is our top.
Yeah.
Sandra. 2.
The obnoxious student who would tell you 32.
I believe that. That's why I put a limit. Tina, how many have you eaten?
5.
5.
2.
And 2. Bird, how many have you eaten?
1.
1. Oh, 2 and 1. All right. Now, here's how I'm going to create my dot plot. I'm going to look at the numbers of apples that people have eaten, and I'm going to dot it down in my dot plot. I have a number line from 0 to 5. This number line represents the number of apples. I need to make a key. Are these numbers really big? Am I gonna be making a lot of dots? No. I see that I only have 3 one time, 2 I have it a couple times. So I'm gonna make each dot, 1 dot means 1 person. Now I'm gonna go around across my table.
1 apple,
Yeah.
not 1 person.
No, she's right.
1 person.
It's the
Yeah,
line
because it's
itself.
my
Bottom
number of
equals
apples.
Oh, you're right,
Yeah.
you're right, you're right, you're right.
So Michelle ate 3, so I'm gonna put 1 dot for Michelle. Alex ate 0, so I put 1. Elida ate 4. What is my time?
You have 4 minutes and 58 seconds.
Okay.
5 minutes now.
2, 5, 2, and 1. 1. Okay, so my dot plot is showing me the frequency that, what can we notice? What was the most frequent number of apples that people ate?
2.
2. I had 2 people eating 2 apples. Do we have any that was the least frequent? No. 0, 1, 3, 4, and 5 were all equal. What was the difference between the highest number, the greatest number, and the least number? And I will go through summarizing questions. And then for follow-up, we made, how many tamales can you eat in a meal?
Way better than apples.
Yes. And then I put a limit of 10. So they're gonna go with their classmates and they're gonna put their name and how many numbers. And I want them to go in order. That way they are not getting lost. Like I did, like starting from the top. They're gonna make their own key. And then in the back we have some summarizing data questions, and I took these based on how they are tested. Like, what is the difference between the greatest and the least number of tamales eaten? Or how many more students ate 3 or less tamales than 4 or more? So they have to add, and they have to subtract, because that is how it's tested. In our in the little thingy. At the back, at the very back, I put star questions that include graphs, so you can see like how they are tested. I know that they were, I think they had 2 questions on dot plot last year, so it's always like 2 or 3 questions. And what I have noticed with my previous students, that dot plot was always the hardest for them to like understand the numbers, especially when the key was more than 1. But it's very rare. I didn't find any that the key was more than 1 for the dot plot. I did find it for pictographs. So I also added a few blank ones, and they can be used for bar graphs, for pictographs, and then it can be an extension like, okay, based on this data, can you make a bar graph? Based on this data, can you make a pictograph? Or they could create their own survey and then conduct it.
Minutes, 5 seconds.
Okay, very good. So the next step for 5 minutes, Miss Sandra, is what you saw, or if there are any noticings about the presentation and wonderings.
Are they filling it out with us?
As I'm filling mine. That way they can have an exemplar.
I'm wondering about the being able to, wait, so the first bit of work that they'll do on their own is just this one, is the tamales, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But then with this,
Mm-hmm.
what are you thinking, what, I'm wondering about, like, them being able to do this without having done examples with you there. So that's just my wondering, like, how, is this sort of kind of like an explore, let's see what you can do?
Yeah.
Or, you know, or,
I would have done oral questions while I was doing this, like at the
Okay.
end, I would have done oral questions.
Yeah.
But I wonder if we should also do
I
some
don't-
written questions.
I
That
don't
way they
know.
can have, oh, remember we did this one that's a difference, that's how you solve it.
and I think we get a discussion time at the end, right, so we get to talk about that later, or
Yeah, we can.
we can.
I wonder about this, if we can create this to be like a first and second grade work, so they can already have background knowledge to
Mhm.
prepare them for third grade, so like 3-part cards, frequency table, the definition, and then pictures.
Mhm.
Boxes of, whatever, boxes of paper, I mean, you know, like,
Yeah.
for, pictographs, just like a sorting.
Mm-hmm.
You said the vocabulary also, Jasmine?
Vocabulary.
So that was my wondering of when they would be introduced to the vocab word of dot plot and frequency.
You can even make it like sensorial, and you can have like some little apples or something. They can make their own dot plot. Or like,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like make a physical record,
Yeah.
like dot plot.
yeah, get some actual apples and make their own dot plots.
Mm.
Can you get those little stickers for the dots?
Yeah, I was
Make
looking
it
for
fun.
stickers I couldn't.
I don't think we have anymore. We did have some of those like colored garage
Mhm.
sale dots.
Yes.
But they're
I
gone.
might have some.
They're gone downstairs.
Just ask Michelle, she's got lots of stuff in her closet.
Mhm.
She's been finding.
And it's not mine.
I know.
Or if someone also has like those little hole punches, you know, but they're like
Oh, yeah.
different shapes.
Oh,
yeah.
The
yeah.
little
Those are
bit bigger
cute.
ones.
Mhm.
They can,
Mm.
first graders can be, you know, helping their fine motors while they're providing the
Yeah.
For their pictograph.
materials for that work.
Mm-hmm. But that would be more for pictograph, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Or dot plot.
Instead of dots, it's the little
Instead of
shapes.
dots, it's like flowers or stars or,
Mhm.
you know.
Okay.
Anyone else noticing or wondering? Okay, next, presenter's reflection. So you reflect on our observations and wonderings and something, or if you have something to share on your own in your presentation.
Well, the two things we talked about, we can create the 3-part cards. It's something quick that I can create on the types of graphs, and then it can be a shelf work. That way they're exposed to it. And then I do think they might benefit from having those written questions, and maybe I can go over them in like a, okay, no, never mind. I was gonna say, I can go over them with a DKOS, but I think that's gonna take us so long. So we can just go over like the vocabulary as in and means the addition and difference means subtraction. And we could just do it in a paper. I think that will be beneficial.
Because did you say this was for third grade?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking about your third graders in particular.
Yes.
Also, you know, just for them to come blindly to, you
Yeah.
know, like, so has there been, what would be coming before this particular? Have they done any of the other graphs?
Not this year.
Right. So again, they may need some of this sort of shelf work before we even get to this.
Okay.
Just to have that vocabulary, because you're saying frequency and all, you know,
Mhm.
which is great. That's the vocabulary we want
Yes.
in the lesson, right? We want the high level. But maybe just to have a little of that on the shelf for them that they could be doing beforehand
Okay. And this is Thursday, right?
Next Thursday.
next Thursday.
I also
I can
think,
help you make some, like, again, when I say these things, I'm not like, go make it all, you know, like, if I can help you make it between now and the lesson day or whatever y'all decide, just let me know.
Also, I think there are some ETC cards on data. They have like,
Yeah.
the one that comes to my mind is like pictures of teddy bears in a shelf.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, 3 are on the shelf, 4 are on the shelf. You know,
Oh, yes.
so there are some. Yours are in a red bin. They're in a red box that looks like that. And they're in Ziploc baggies, but I don't know how, and some of them come with word problems already, but I don't know exactly, like, to meet the needs of the kids, we might have to bring it down even more.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that could be something to look for the graphics. Oh, sorry, next step is reflections and agreements. So, when everybody gives this lesson in the room, what are some things that we will all do the same or change from this lesson?
We all use the same vocab.
The anchor chart was very helpful for them to see and for you to do it with them. That would be good.
And I also think, like you said, at the end, you would give like oral questioning. So especially what's the difference between the most often and so, because that comes.
Yeah.
And I know you want to do it orally, but maybe we can just have it projected like on the smartboard so they can actually see the vocab.
Yes.
And you can just point out this is the word difference. Difference sometimes means subtraction.
Yeah.
This is really nice
Resay that again?
to just have the questions like projected up.
Like, everybody asks the same question.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, so
Yep.
it's not a variation of everybody can have the same question for this.
Yeah.
And you could just send us this and
Yeah.
you could just project this part up.
But that's for their,
So we just change it from
Independent.
Tamales to
Apples or apples.
apples.
Yeah. And this is really nice. I like this.
Yeah, it's a really cool lesson.
Could you make it, or could you send it to us so we could edit it? And maybe I could
I'll
like
send
take
it to
this
you guys
off and
on
they
Canva.
can make their own question and they could do their own
Oh,
dot plot. That would be really cute.
She has one in there that's blank, right?
yeah.
Yeah, there's a blank one that they can, like a blank one that they can make their own, right?
Oh, this one's,
Like this,
Oh, I see.
yeah. These are like blank and
yeah,
there's
the only
one.
thing is that it's called line plot in other states, not dot plot. So that's the only thing. But it has the little number line here.
Texas chose to call it something different.
Of course. So cute. I like that.
Okay, thank you, Martha. Ms. Martha, for sharing that with us. Okay, so, sorry to switch gears so quickly,